Hello, I am Shayan.
And I'm Shunatra.
We are an academic couple who working as professors in the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Last summer in May, we went to UK for attending an academic conference, and after that, we were visiting several universities, giving talks and having
Research
discussions,
related discussion.
research-related discussions. We were in Swansea. This trip, we were accompanied by our 12-year-old son, Esraj, who was having his summer vacation during this period. We were in Swansea at the time when Esraj had this accident. One afternoon, we went to Rossley Beach. We took a bus and went to Rossley Beach, and there Esraj was actually very excited to see all the sheep grazing in the meadows, and he veered off the path that was taking us from the village Rossley to the seashore down.
I think it was a very high cliff, and one thing led to another. And while playing, he just fell off, which seemed like it's a great height. And later we came to know that it's around 100 feet. So our son had fallen that much, and we saw him fall.
Yes, it was.
And it was a completely deserted beach, and there was no one, and we didn't know what to do. So for a few seconds we just stood still, didn't know what to do. I couldn't even run towards my son. I was kind of in shock. So then this elderly couple, luckily they were nearby, and they were walking their dog probably. They just came, and they initiated everything. They called the emergency number, and they talked to the team. And the gentleman was trying to talk to my son. I think what seemed like uh, quite a long time, but actually it was a few minutes. The emergency helicopter landed, and the paramedics took charge. So we are really thankful for the entire emergency response and the whole team, everyone. And we couldn't have probably got a better support anywhere. It was excellent. I mean, they never let us feel alone in this traumatic thing. So they protected us, and airlifted my son, and took me along with them. And I think it all happened, in such a hurry. In fact, my husband Shan was asking them that where exactly they're taking us. They said that they are taking us to University Hospital Wales, which is a very good place for children
The best place for brain
for
trauma.
for,
That's what
for
they
trauma
mentioned.
related injuries. So
And they said it's in Cardiff. At that point, I was not even aware where Cardiff
how
is.
far that would
I
be
knew
and how
Cardiff
to
is in
go.
UK, but exactly where it is, we had no idea.
Yeah.
And we were there only for an 18-day trip into the UK. So it's not that,
Though it was our second trip, but
yeah,
this kind of incidents are, they don't happen like every day. So you never come across it, you never think of such things might be happening. So anyway, we reached there in about 20-25 minutes maybe, and the emergency team doctors took charge. But I think Shan there at the beach was getting very worried,
yes. So
and we had no way to reach,
communicate,
yeah,
yeah.
to communicate.
So luckily, I was able to call my host in Swansea using the phone of the police there, and I requested him to come and pick me up from Rossley and drop me to Cardiff. So I think we reached at Cardiff around 8:30 in the night. This incident happened around maybe 3:30, and Esraj and Shunatra were airlifted by 4:15. So when I reached the hospital, Noah's Ark Hospital, and the Esraj and Shunatra were still in the
Yeah, we were in
emergency.
emergency still, and But I think all the initial care was given. They were just waiting to shift into a regular ward.
So it was a very stressful night for us. The whole night we were standing beside his bed.
But by this time they had done all the basic tests, and they gave me a picture of the extent of the injuries, the fractures, and they, they they ruled out any major issue in his nervous system. So it seemed like the extent of the injury was in his bone fractures and soft tissue injuries. So when Shayan had come, he was really very worried, but I could assure him, okay,
It's sort of a miracle
yeah.
actually. He didn't suffer much, I mean, more grievous injuries. But it was still quite a substantial injuries, and the first night was very traumatic for both of us and for Esraj, who was unable to sleep.
He was in huge pain. He was
Yes, and
in a lot of pain. And they had put him some brace and all.
Yes.
He's a very active kid. And he was constrained in such a way. On top of that, with a lot of pain, though under strong sedative, he still was very uncomfortable. So he could not sleep at all,
and Cardiff is in a place where we didn't have any
we didn't know
acquaintances or
anyone.
friends in that
We had
region.
no friend or family there.
And anyway, we were just having 2 suitcases with us, which were in Swansea in the hotel. So
we were supposed to stay only for 3 days, I think.
in
3
Swansea.
nights. We had booked. The university booked us in guest house accommodation for 3 nights, I think. Yeah. The next day we were supposed to go
to Glasgow.
to University of Glasgow. Anyway, so that afternoon was off, so we thought of spending it at this beautiful beach.
So the next day, the nurses and the caregivers at Noah's Ark Hospital were just excellent. They were trying to protect us, help us in every way that is possible. It is at this point that the nurses said that there is this
Parents' home.
just beside across the road, and where if we should fill up an application form and see if we can get an accommodation there. So this was like a godsend facility. Everything is in a haze during that period. I don't remember much, but I do remember that sometime later in the day the nurses said that our application has been accepted and that we should go and check in.
In fact, they said that we are lucky to get it so soon
Because there's
we
a huge
apparently
queue.
have to wait.
Yes.
Yeah, they said that we are lucky, but actually we were in such a state, and our mind was, full of so many things that we didn't even realize that this is such a nice thing, and it would enable us to, look after our son without having to travel from a large distance from some other hotel or somewhere. Initial days, I think we were just going to the Ronald McDonald house to catch a few hours of sleep in the night and maybe take a shower and have meals individually, especially dinner one. But as Esra stabilized more and more and we kind of settled down, we realized that it's such a wonderful facility. It has been designed in such a nice way. It's not only close to the hospital, so that you can just go to the hospital at any hour. It also gives you all the basic facilities, and it has been designed in a very nice manner.
Very thoughtful.
Very thoughtful way, where the
Simple things like a toothbrush and a toothpaste.
which made all the difference at that point of time. We actually didn't have a luggage. For the first 2-3 days, we couldn't go to Swansea guest house to pick up our luggage. So we didn't have even a single a change of clothes. But as Shan is saying, the toothbrush, toothpaste made all the difference.
And a very nice bed, of course.
Yes.
Very comfortable. But
the people were also
yeah.
wonderful.
But I think what really was wonderful was that at this point actually after Estraj more or less stabilized, the doctors told we were supposed to fly back maybe in another week's time, but doctors first of all ruled out that it is certainly impossible for him to fly out as soon
If
because
at
of
all he
his
can get a release
yeah
from the hospital by that time, definitely he cannot, he's not ready to fly
because he
back.
had spinal fractures also, and he had also some injuries into his lungs which made it which the doctor said that they cannot allow him to fly for about a month. So it was at this point we started looking for an accommodation because Ronald McDonald House is only for as long as the child is
Admitted to the
admitted in the
hospital.
hospital. So we were expecting him to be released by the end of May. This accident happened on 14th of May. So we started looking for an accommodation, and it's then that we realized that how difficult it is because
Because of his multiple fractures on his spine, on his pelvis, on his leg.
and he was in a brace which
He was
from his
completely
entire leg
covered
in a brace, his thorax was in a brace, and his
from
neck
his neck
neck was
itself.
also
Yeah,
there's a
from
brace.
his neck to the entire upper body was in a brace, and his left leg was also in a brace. So we couldn't uh, we couldn't expect to move him that much. So he needed a place which would have an
Elevator.
elevator which should not involve much stairs. I mean, not at all, not a
Any
single,
stairs,
yeah,
yeah.
not any stairs. And it should not be too far from the hospitals because we were expecting to pay visits to the physio team and the other checkups with the doctors. So there are many constraints, and definitely we didn't have a lot of money also. We cannot stay in a hotel which is very far for 1 month or 5 weeks or so.
We were looking for some BNBs, but usually these BNBs are the extra rooms in a house, so it's in an attic or somewhere, not very injury friendly.
Definitely not, not
Not
injury
in his,
friendly.
yeah.
And we in fact desperately then looking for some regular accommodation, try to rent a house for 4 weeks or so, but that also turned out to be very difficult. But I think what was amazing was the entire support team, all the nurses, everybody in the hospital was also looking for us. They also checked all the websites they knew, they sat with us and they gave us suggestions. Everybody was going through whatever source of information they had to hunt a house for us, and everybody was kind of frustrated because our
People were very
requirements were
kind. People were very
requirement
kind.
was special, and it was not easy. We would get something maybe in the newer localities of Cardiff, which is far away, and the older part, which the houses were with stairs and all, so it was very difficult. Then I think this happened. I think the Ronald McDonald team they just gave us a
They took into consideration our special circumstances, and they made an exception in their rule, and they said that you can stay with us as long as you
are ready to go
as
home.
till you are ready to go home. So it was like a wonderful
The best
gesture.
solution for us,
Yes.
and it was wonderful on their part. And it kind of solved all our problems. We could stay next to the hospital. This was a very much child friendly, injury friendly place.
And the best thing was the people, the
Yes,
staff.
yes. They were like family. They were not just doing their job. It was the personal touch that made all the difference. In fact, we never felt that we don't have friends or family there. They protected us in every possible way. They kind of understood what we were going through, what we needed, and then accordingly guided us,
Initially,
consoled us.
initially we were afraid to take him out in the wheelchair outside, but they told us go where to go, how to go,
How to keep him happy,
how to
what would
keep him
make him,
happy.
what
Yes.
would keep him engaged. They kind of understood, even before we understood what our child needed, they understood. They came up with the suggestions. We later realized that was a wonderful suggestion.
And they were always talking to us, always, all the time they were inquiring about us, how we are coping, how is Estraj coping, how, and
they encouraged him a lot. I mean, that made also a lot of difference. For a child, encouragement while he's going through such a painful period of time, it makes a lot of difference. Every day he made, improvement. Maybe not huge improvement, but delta improvement. And because he was trying to kind of, impress people when he's getting so much encouragement. He's responding so well to that encouragement, and he's taking steps towards getting better. They understand this very well.
Another good thing about the house was the communal kitchen, because that's a place where we could meet the parents of other children who are going through similar tough times. And it was a very nice place where we could each bond with each other, talk to each other, and and people were always helping out each other, complete unknown strangers, but they're all helping each other. It just makes us feel that there are so much good people in the world.
There's so much good people in the world. There's so much love and empathy in the world. You don't realize that every day, but when you face such a difficult situation and when you meet such people, you realize that it's actually a very nice place. We shouldn't give up. We should all try. We should all try to be for each other. And this kind of places, this kind of people, is a big reminder of the fact that humanity is a very strong thing, and we shouldn't lose faith in it.
I mean, all we can say is thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone.
And I wish you a lot of energy for doing what you are doing and doing it much better, to widen your radius, to reach out to more and more people, and bring smiles to a lot of kids
And
and
their
their
parents.
family. You really understand what family needs are, what the parents' needs are during difficult times.
And we certainly hope that one day we will be back in Cardiff to say hi to all of you once again.
All three of us. Thank you.
সাম্পিকে একটু ডাকতে হবে।